Namo tas bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tas bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tas bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Thanks for joining. So I think today we will go into today's lesson. So Teruvan Sarana everyone. Thanks for joining. So today we're going to look at the 18 Ahethuka mind energies, or Ahethuka sit. Okay, let's see what they are. I want to give a recap as always. So in this topic of Abhidhamma, we basically looking at the highest level of teaching in Buddhism under the different energy type classification. As you know, in Buddhism, there are 3 categories of teachings: Abhidhamma, Sutra, Vinaya, and Abhidhamma. So in the 84,000 different Dhamma teachings, 42,000 are classed under Abhidhamma topic. So more than half of Buddhist teaching is taught under Abhidhamma. So it's very important subject to learn. And as we know that the Abhidhamma talks about 170 unique energy types, and these are classed as these 4 categories. One is I'll use the Pali word. So one is called Chitta in Pali. In Sinhala it's called Sita. In Pali it's also called Vijnana, but I call it mind energy. Okay, so anyone, any being that has a mind, then they have these energy types. So mind energy, or Sita or Chitta. So there are 89 types out of the 170, and then out of the 170, 52 are Chaitasika or Siddhivili. I translate Chaitasika to Siddhivili in Sinhalese and thoughts in English, but it is known as mental factors or qualities of the Chitta energy, because these 2 categories of energies, they are connected. Okay, they can't be separated. It is said that even if you can separate the water, like if you take a handful of water from the sea, and you can separate that this water came from this river and this river and this river, even if you can do that, you cannot separate the difference between the mind energy and thought energy, or Chitta and Chaitasika. They're very closely related. We'll talk about it on the next slide. And the 3rd category is called material energy or Rupa energy in Pali. There are 28 types of Rupa. So anything physical that we can touch and feel or see are created. At least 8 of these 28 Rupa energies. Okay, so it's very important to understand the material energy type is what makes up all the physical world around us. And lastly, a unique energy type in its own class is called Nibbana. The Nibbana energy is basically in its own class because it's a unique energy that exists, that really exists. Okay, and some of the characteristics of the Nibbana energy is that it doesn't have any of the qualities of the above 3 types. Okay, mind energy, thought energy, and material energy. Okay, and it's important to understand the distinction that the Nibbana energy is in its own class, and it does not have any characteristics of either the mind energy, thought energy, or the material energy. And normally these three energy types, the first three, they have a characteristics of beginning, middle, and end of the vibration. Okay, the vibration consists of three stages. It has a beginning, it has a middle, which is a duration, and it has an end. Whereas the Nibbana energy doesn't have a beginning or an end. It just exists. Okay, so, and it is the most finest form of energy. It is the most finest form of energy, whereas these are more less fine, basically. And just the reason I put this periodic table is for you to relate the context of this teaching. And basically, in schools, we learn about this periodic table, and it is said that all the kind of elements in here is what makes up everything physical in our world. But in Buddhist teaching, there are finer energy types than what's captured in the periodic table, which are of 170 types, no more or less than 170. And this 170 is only identified by a Tathagata Samma Sambuddha with that kind of wisdom, that kind of knowledge. Only a Tathagata Samma Sambuddha mind can see these 170 energy type and classify them so clearly. So therefore, it is the developed wisdom that can detect these energies. That's the only apparatus that can detect these energies, whereas these energies can be detected by, different scientific equipments. So there's no scientific equipments that can detect all of these energy types except the developed wisdom thought. Okay, so let's move on. I think let's move on to this slide. So this slide, the purpose of this slide is to explain the relationship between these two categories, mind energy and thought energy. I said that they're closely related. So the mind energy is shown in the black line here, which is, I only drawn this for illustration purposes only. This is not how it really exists. But in order to talk about it, we need to have a, some sort of visualization. So because the mind energy has three stages, Utpada Titibanga, or beginning, middle, end, I draw it as a vibrational energy. And as you can see, the black line is the foundation of that vibration. And to support it, we have these chaitasika, or these thoughts. There are minimum 7. I think there's maximum about 33 thoughts that can exist in any one mind energy vibration. So at least 7 thoughts exist in every vibration, every mind vibration. That's why I drawn that here in different colors, to show the relationship that they all begin together and they all sustain together and they die together. And then without any gaps, it starts, it has a duration and it ends. So begin, middle, end, begin, middle, end, like that. Our mind energy vibration continues without breaking. It continues forever until we achieve Nibbana. Okay, so I think in the past we talked about the 31 realms that this mind energy travels from, one realm to another. So when we die, our mind energy travels to another realm and connect to another body in that realm without any gaps. So this mind energy is what we're talking about today. Whenever we talk about the word with mind energy, we're talking about the mind energy here. And today's topic is about rootless mind energy types. There are 18 of them. We're going to look at what they are. The reason we say rootless is that normally to create karma, positive or negative karma, you need to have a root cause, right? There are 6 root causes that creates positive and negative karma. Can someone tell me what they are? Hira, can you tell me what the root causes are for karma creation? Do you remember? You're on mute. Chitraka, can you tell me what they are?
Sorry, it's Lobha, Dosa, Moha.
Yes, the Lobha Dosa Moha creates what type of karma?
It creates a negative karma.
Very good. Negative karma indeed. And then the positive karma, the opposite, or root causes are what?
The
Alobha, adesha, amoha.
Very good. Very good. The opposite karma is alobha, adosa, amoha. Right? So those are the root causes. So whenever you hear the word root cause, we're talking about those root causes. Very good. So it's important to understand that there are mind energies that exist without those 6 root causes. They're called rootless. Okay, that's what we're going to look at today. There are 18 of them. So it's important to look at those today, and let's look at what they are. They're called Ahethuka sit or Ahethuka mind energies. They don't create any karma, whether positive or negative. It exists in everyone, all beings. Rahatan Vahanse, it exists in Rahatan Vahanse and also normal people. So let's look at what they are. Out of the 18, we're going to look at the first 7 mind energies, and let's see what they are and when they get used. Okay. So the first one, basically, just to translate this table, on the first column, it tells you the number of the mind energy. Out of the 18, there are 7 that we experience for akusala vipaka. Akusala vipaka means as a result of a negative karma, we experience any one of these 7 mind energies. Okay, so these are the results. These are the vipakasit. Vipakasit means because of a negative karma, we have these sits. These are the result of a vipakasit. Okay, the result of a negative karma. So for example, I'll give you a couple examples so you can relate. Okay, but before I do that, I want to explain this table. So in the second column, we say the name or the meaning of the mind energy in English. Then you have the Pali name for it. Okay, so you can connect the two. And then because these energies, these mind energies occur mainly against one of your body parts, that body part is on the third column. Because it has no root causes, no lobha dvesha moha or alobha dosa moha, this root cause is highlighted as none. Because the mind energy, the particular mind energy does have a particular feeling associated, mostly neutral feeling or upekha feeling, it is highlighted here. So all the energy types has upekha feeling except for this fifth one. This fifth has dukkha vedana feeling or unhappy feeling associated. And it has these 3 columns highlight that these mind energies are not associated with any thought. These are not associated or disassociated with any thoughts, and these are not prompted by yourself or others. These mind energies occur as a result of a negative karma. In this case, we're looking at the negative karma triggered mind energies. Okay, you could say that this negative karma, these energies are triggered by negative karma. So this will also highlight that everything we see, hear, smell, taste, feel, recognize, and decide doesn't happen by accident. It happens because in this context of a negative karma. So if you see a dead body, if you see a person who's in pain, that's a result of a negative karma that we have experienced in this life or previous lives. That's what this highlights. Because it is a result focused mind energy, it does not relate to any of the root causes. That's why it's rootless. So the first one is called upekka sahagata chakku viññāna. So what does this mean? This means that when you see something from your eye, okay, when you see something from your eye, your mind cannot process what you see with your eye without the eye consciousness, okay, without this first mind energy called eye consciousness. So for example, we see a lot of things normally with our eyes, but only certain colors or pictures grabs our attention. In that moment, in that precise moment, we have to know that our eye consciousness is in use. Okay. Without your eye consciousness, without the eye focus mind energy being used, you won't notice what you see with your eyes. So you have to understand that our body parts can only detect things when our mind is focused on it. So when you see something with your eye, your mind has to be focused on it if it's important to you. Okay. If it grabs your attention, then your mind is focused on that particular faculty of your body, which is, we have eye, ear, nose, tongue, body. So those 5 mind energies, it is the same mind, by the way. Okay, there's no 5 different mind energies. It's the same mind. It just focus on that particular moment, either in the eye, the information that you perceive through your eye, or the information that perceived through your ear, nose, tongue, or body. So that way, can you relate to what I'm trying to explain here? That these mind energies, basically, they don't have any root causes. Okay, they are Ahethuka sit. So in that context, these are just directing our mind to either eye, ear, nose, tongue, or body, depending on what we experience by those body parts. In that moment, these are the different mind energies that exist. So the first one is called eye focus mind energy with neutral feeling. It's not a happy or sad feeling, it's neutral at that moment. And the Pali name for that particular sita or mind energy or viññāna is called upekka sahagata chakku viññāna. So when you have this mind energy, it means that you're seeing something with your eye. Without this viññāna, you cannot register what you see with your eye to your brain. Okay, so it's imperative that we use the mind energy to that's focus on the eye to see things. That's when you actually register, I saw something. Whether it's good or bad comes later. Okay, but the fact that we saw something is registered through this mind energy. Number 1 mind energy. The second one is focusing on the ear. So when you hear something, whether it's good or bad, you will only notice it. Your mind will only notice it is because of this upekka sahagata sota viññāna, or ear focused mind energy with neutral feeling. If that consciousness doesn't get created in that moment, you can't hear it. It doesn't matter what's been played or heard. If your attention is not focused on your ear in that moment, you won't experience it. So ear focused mind energy is the second one. The Pali word, the Pali chitta name for it is called Upekka Sahagata Sota Vinyana. The third one is directing your mind energy or attention to your nose. Okay, so nose focused mind energy with neutral feeling or nose consciousness is called Upekka Sahagata Ghana Vinyana. So Ghana means nose in Pali. Okay, so we basically, these mind energies or vinyana is another word for mind energy in Pali. Without these mind energies, you won't notice anything with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, or body. Okay, so according to Abhidhamma, these are the vinyana or the energies that that help us to detect things from these faculties of our body. And they are rootless. They don't have lobha, dvesha, moha, alobha, dosa, moha root causes. That's why it's rootless. Okay, rootless. And these ones negative because these mind energies only shows you negative things. Okay, because as a result of a negative karma. So if you see something negative, like a dead body or something bad event through your eyes, is because of a result of a bad karma. If you had to hear something negative from someone, it's because of a bad karma. If you had to smell something negative, it's because of bad karma. So these are the negative karma kind of detection mind energies. Okay, so the fourth one is interesting. Fourth one is basically, so not the fourth one, the fifth one is interesting. The fourth one is to focus on tongue, right? So when you taste something negative, okay, something bitter, you're doing it through this mind energy called Upekka Sahagata Jivha Vinyana. Now, when you look at the positive karma side, you see all of these again on a positive light. Here we are looking at the negative aspect. So because these are all created because of a negative karma. Okay, these are all bad experiences. When you experience something bad with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, you can only do it using these different mind energies. Just know that at that moment, negative mind energy was used, because if you know this, when you do the Satipatthana meditation, especially the mind focused Satipatthana meditation, this mind energy will help you to meditate on that. That's why it's important. So the next one is interesting because it's body focus. Okay, body focus mind energy with actually unhappy feeling. It's not neutral feeling, it's unhappy feeling. Okay, so dukkha feeling. So body conscious, the Pali word, actually I should change this one moment, please. Let me go to my Excel file and change it just to correct that. So this should be called body focus mind energy with unhappy feeling. Unhappy feeling. And also the Pali word is dukkha sahagata. Dukkha sahagata feeling. So yes, let's go from this slide. So if you just ignore the bottom bit, so I just want to focus on the top bit here. So number 5, body focus mind energy with unhappy feeling. Okay, this is when you feel something for your body which is making you unhappy. Okay, like for example, if you feel if you cut yourself, you feel unhappy, right? So because you have a painful feeling associated with it, so that makes you unhappy. So that feeling you will experience through this mind energy called dukkha sahagata kaya viññāna. Okay, and the English meaning is body focused mind energy with unhappy feeling or painful feeling, and it's focused on the body. The associated feeling is unhappy or vedana or dukkha in Pali and Sinhalese and also English. So the 6th and the 7th is quite unique. Okay, this one is called it's quite a it's a mind energy that you don't really hear every day. There's this mind energy or sita called or viññāna called sampatichana sita. So upekka sahagata sampatichana sita means it is the mind energy that recognizes things. So if you experience something negative in your mind, you have to recognize that thing as a negative thing. If you see a beggar on the street, and that for you to recognize that beggar as someone who needs help, right? You have to recognize it first, that someone needs help. So that recognition is conducted by this mind energy. Upekka sahagata sampatichana viññāna. So sampatichana sita, which is focused recognition. It focuses on the recognition aspect of the mind energy. So it recognizes things which are negative. So that mind energy, its job is to recognize something as negative. And then once you recognize it, the next mind energy, it decides on it. It makes decisions based on that recognition. You know, if you see a beggar, you recognize that beggar as a beggar who needs help, and then you make a decision whether to help that person or not. And that decision is made by this mind energy or this sita called upekka sahagata santirnas viññāne or santirna sita. Santirna means you actually make decisions. In this context, because it's negative, this santirna sita will help you to make a negative decision related to what you recognize on the first sita. These are all interconnected, by the way. When you look at chitta vidhi, which basically mind energies that occur one after the other, there are 17 of them. There are series of mind energies that we all have, okay? And each batch contains 17 mind energies. In the 17, they're called chitta vidhi. We don't really cover that in this lesson series, but chitta vidhi, if you look into it, there are 17 mind energies that occur at any given time, okay? And in those 17, you'll see santirna sita, sampatichana sita, like that. They come one after the other. And also, you know, if you see something negative, you'll use this upekka sahagata chakku viññāna sita, then, you know, sampatichana sita and santirna sita. So that's how it works. But I just want you to recognize that these different mind energies have a different purpose, and that's how they're used. Any questions so far? You can unmute and talk. Do you want me to clarify anything? Let me know. Is that clear, what I'm saying? I know it's a new topic.
Yes, I suppose so.
Yeah.
It's but this is in normal life. You see it though, right? I mean, all the
Yes,
time.
exactly.
But does that mean like somebody who is isolated from a lot of these types of what do you call
Experiences.
feelings and experiences, have they got more better karma than the one who doesn't?
Well, one of the things to take from this lesson is that nothing happened by accident. Everything has a cause and effect. Okay.
Okay.
And basically, we call it karma because that's the word that's used to explain the effects of our previous actions. But yeah, on that context, everything has a cause and nothing happens by accident. And our karma can be categorized into positive and negative karma, and actions that happens without karma, also called kriya. So kusala, akusal, kriya are the three types of Ahethuka sit, and we looked at the akusal, which are the mind energies that occurs in our mind when we experience negative karma. Now, to answer your question, basically, that's right. So if someone's not experiencing negative things in their day-to-day life, that means they haven't, they don't actually have any negative karma to experience in that way. So, but you see, although we live in the same world, our experiences are different. And our experience are influenced by our karma, according to Buddhism. And if you ask someone to look at a situation, what they see and hear and listen to and feel, they vary because of their different, karmic effects and the mind energies that they experience in that time. So some people will, for example, if you look at the COVID situation, some people have, experienced COVID, some people haven't. That's because of their karmic effect. So people who have experienced, some died, some haven't. That's because of their karmic effect, according to Buddhism. So even to listen to these kind of stories is because, of our karma. So that's what this kind of trying to translate. But when we do experience those things, we do it with those type of energy types, those type of vijnanas, because we use these vijnanas every day, even now, for us to see. Like right now, we're seeing positive karma creation thoughts and experiences. So when we listen to these things, we using these 8, not the previous 8. This 7 is for negative karma effect, but this 8 is for positive. So right now, you can see that, you can actually think that the energy types here, the vijnanas here, is what we're really utilizing in this lesson, because these are the results of a positive karma to having to learn this. Yeah.
So there must be opportunity to create going forward positive karma positions, right?
Indeed. So that's why we do the Dasa Punya Kriya, or the 10 meritorious deeds, so that we can cultivate positive karma, from our day-to-day life. So the fact that we can listen to the Dhamma and trying to understand it, trying to hear it, and see it, is also creating positive karma. And it's very important that we, as Buddhists, our job is to really create as much positive karma as possible by doing those 10 meritorious deeds. So it's important that we do this, listen to the Dhamma, practice the Dhamma, and trying to help as much as possible for others to do well in their lives, so that we can create positive, karma is our day-to-day practice. It should be, if you want to focus on achieving nirvana. So hopefully that answered your question, Chitraka.
Yes, yes, it did.
Thank you. So let's move on to the next category. So this is looking at 8 rootless positive karma results, sita or mind energy, or 8 Ahethuka kusala vipaka sit. Kusala vipaka means whatever positive karmic effect that we experience, we can only experience them through these mind energies. Okay, so when we see pleasant things with our eyes, we're doing it through upekka sahagata chakku vinyana, but in the positive context. Okay, not negative, because it's a positive experience we're seeing, positive image we're seeing. The second one is upekka sahagata sota vinyana. So same one, same mind energies as the negative, but because it's in the positive side, these experiences are all positive. So when you hear something, that you like, then you're doing it through upekka sahagata sota vinyana, because your ear is focused on that positive thing with a neutral feeling. When you smell something positive, something nice, you at that moment your upekka sahagata jnana vinyana is in use. Now the next one is when you taste something nice with your tongue, you're doing it through upekka sahagata jivha vinyana. So like that. And then when you experience something like a happy feeling with your body, then in that moment, this particular vinyana is in use. Upekka sahagata kaya vinyana. So it's very important to understand that. And then again, recognition mind energy is different. So there are 2 types of feeling, joy feeling and neutral feeling mind energies, whereas in the akusal section there's only one. But in the kusal section there's a joy feeling and there's a neutral feeling. There's 2 types of feeling mind energies exist, therefore it becomes 8, not 7. So let's look at the recognition one. The recognition one is called upekka sahagata sampatichana sita or vinyana, and that recognize what you saw as good. Basically, it's a good thing that you saw or that you experience. And then you can decide to have a happy feeling about it or neutral feeling about it based on either of these vinyana. Somanas sahagata santina vinyana. When you if you have this mind energy, then your decision will give you a happiness feeling, priti, somanas. That's why it says here. And then if the decision is neutral, then it'll give you a neutral feeling, upeksa feeling. So it's pretty much the same mind energy, just that we have extra kind of decision thought, decision mind energy in this context than the negative context. So that's what that is. So basically, it's the same thought. So whenever we see something positive with our eyes, we use upekka sahagata chakku vinyana. And we hear something positive with our ear, we hear it with upekka sahagata sota vinyana. If we smell something positive with our nose, we use upekka sahagata gana vinyana. If you experience something positive with our tongue, we use upekka sahagata jivha vinyana. If you experience something positive with our body, we use upekka sahagata kaya vinyana. And then based on those body part related or focused vinyana, the next vinyana immediately comes is this one. Upekka sahagata sampatichana vinyana. So what we experience with these, this happens one at a time, by the way. It doesn't happen all at the same time. We may feel it like that, but it doesn't. Whatever we see, hear, smell, taste, or feel, we recognize them as such using this vinyana, upekka sahagata sampatticchana vinyana. And when you decide, so when you recognize, then you decide to have either happiness feeling about it, or happiness feeling about it, or yes, hello there. Sakun, do you have a question?
Hello, sir.
Okay. If you have a question, you can ask now or later. Let me just carry on. Okay.
Hello, sir. Me, our class join this new member, my brother.
Sakun Mali, I can't really make out what you're saying because it's breaking. Can you type your question into the chat for me? Can you type it so I can read it, because your line isn't clear? I think the connection is breaking for you. If you can type your question, that'll be great. Thank you. So
Okay.
Thank you. So just to carry on. So once you actually detect something pleasant with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, or body, the next mind energy or the next vinyana that happens in the Chitta Vidi sequence is the Upekka Sahagata Sampatticchana Vinyana, which recognize that what you experience as good. And then immediately after, you'll have the Santirna Vinyana. There are two here. One is to give you a joyful feeling. One is to give you a neutral feeling. So the joyful feeling, whether to experience joy or neutral, whether to experience joyful feeling or neutral feeling is decided based on these vinyana. Somanassa Sahagata, Santirna Vinyana, or Somanassa Sahagata, so Upekka Sahagata, Santirna Vinyana. So depending on whichever Santirna Sita, then you will feel either joy or neutral. Any questions on this? Or is that pretty clear? Is that pretty clear? So when we experience positive karma, we in our mind we use these vinyana, and these are not separate vinyana. It's the same mind energy or same vinyana, but focuses are different. Okay, we're focusing. So basically, we talk about eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue and body consciousness. These are not separate ones. It's the same consciousness. We will have one conscious mind. Okay, but the focuses are different. So we don't have a mind in our eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body. We have one mind, but its focus at any one time on these faculties when we're experiencing positive energy. So that's what that means. And then now let's move on to the last three rootless no karma creation sita, or three Ahethuka kriya sit. These are called kriya sit because they don't create karma. Okay, and these are the last three. And let's look at what they are. Okay, so the Pali word for it, the first one is called Upekka Sahagata Panchat Avarjana. Okay, Panchat Avarjana Vinyana. Panchat Avarjana means Pancha Avarjana means Pancha means five. What are those five? Those five are your eye, ear, nose, tongue, or the body. So these are the five faculties of our body. And the job of this vijnana, this mind energy, is to direct, all it does is direct our focus to either eye, ear, nose, tongue, or body. When it does that, then only then these mind energies can happen. Okay. First, there's a particular mind energy, which is a kriyasit, which doesn't create karma. And the job of this siddha is to direct our focus, okay, to one of the 5 faculties. That's why it's called pancha avarjana vijnana. Pancha means 5, avarjana means to turn, right? And vijnana means mind energy. So the job of this siddha is to turn our mind to one of these 5 faculties. After that, one of these mind energies will happen. So if it's eye focus, then you'll have upeksha sahagata chakku vijnana. If it's ear focus, this will turn the focus to our ear. Then you will have upeksha sahagata sota vijnana, like that. So the avajjana siddha job is to turn the focus to the particular body faculty. Then this mind energy will happen next. Then the recognition mind energy will come into the sequence. Then the santirna siddha will decide. You will follow that. Is that clear?
Yes, uncle.
Okay, great. So the next one, now this mind energy's job is to turn your mind or your focus to one of the 5 faculties. But there's a 6th faculty, no? So the 6th faculty is the mind itself. The job of this second Ahethuka siddha is called upekka sahagata manod avarjana vijnana. Manod avarjana means to turn towards the mind, okay? To focus towards the mind. So that's the job of this mind energy. So I just want to give an example here. Okay, so basically, let's say we see something like pleasant. Okay, we see a picture of a monk. Okay, that's walking. So the way our mind works is that first, we basically focus on our eyes. So this mind energy, upekka sahagata pancha avajjana siddha, will say, I want you to focus on your eyes first. Then this mind energy will happen in the sequence of the chitta vidya, upekka sahagata chakku vijnana. So now we can perceive information from our eyes into our mind to process. Okay, so the avajjana siddha will focus on the eye. Then the upekka sahagata chakku vijnana siddha will identify what we see with our eye faculty. And then this upekka sahagata manodavajjana siddha will focus on the mind to process it. Okay, so it will turn the focus towards our mind, and then it will say, oh yes, that's a Buddhist monk. That's how you recognize things. But this happens very fast. Okay, each one of the age of each one of these mind energies is 1 chittakshana. So just to give an idea, the measurement of the chittakshana is no one really knows. Okay, it's very fast. It is said that when you blink, there are millions and billions of chittakshana has gone by in that millisecond. So we cannot really comprehend the speed of these mind energies, but it happens so fast. But we know that according to Abhidhamma, the order of these mind energies is happening like that. So the first 2, kriyasit, happens or occurs in everyone's minds. Okay, it doesn't have to be a Rahatan Vahanse, it happens on normal people. But the last one, this last one is only happens in a mind of a Rahatan Vahanse. So this is a very special mind energy. It's a kriyasit, Ahethuka kriyasit, that occurs in a Rahatan Vahanse when he or she smiles. So this, when a Rahatan one smiles, it doesn't create, that mind energy doesn't create positive or negative energy. The reason for that is it uses this particular mind energy called Somanasa Sahagata Hasituppada Vinyani. Hasituppada Sita. So when Rahatan Vansa smiles, he or she uses the Hasituppada Sita. And Somanasa means it has a joy or preeti or Somanasa kind of feeling associated with it. And that only occurs in a Rahat mindset. So it shows happiness by smiling without creating positive or negative karma. So these are the 18 Ahethuka mind energies, or 18 Ahethuka sit. Ahethuka means it has no root causes of Lobha, Dvesha, Moha, Alobha, Adosa, Moha. So that concludes today's Abhidhamma lesson. This is the 7th lesson. So I will post this to my Abhidhamma channel. So I welcome you to visit it and listen to all the previous ones so you can follow this lesson series. Is there any questions so far? Is it clear? If you have any questions, feel free to ask. These are all very practical, okay? Because these mind energies that talks about in the Abhidhamma, it occurs in all of our mindset. So this Upekka Sahagata Chakku Vinyānaya basically focuses on the eye. When it focuses on the ear, you say Sota Vinyānaya. Nose, you say Gana Vinyānaya. And tongue, you say Jivha Vinyānaya. Right? And if his body is Kaya Vinyānaya. But when you're experiencing a negative karma, all of this works in a negative mindset, in a negative context. When you're seeing something positive, all these mind energies works in a positive context. And then when we die, okay, when we die, the Santirna Sita is basically is in use, okay. I said that in our Chitta Vidhi context. Let me just share my slide again. So if I go back to our explanation of this mind energy. So basically this slide I created to explain the relationship between mind energy and thought energy. I said that they're very closely related. So this is a vibration, okay. This three-sided image shows you an example of a mind energy. The black line is the mind energy, which has 3 sides, which is called Utpada Titibanga. Utpada means birth of the mind energy, or appearance or beginning, and Titi means duration, and Banga means disappearing or end. Okay, so beginning, middle, end basically are the 3 stages of the mind energy. And if you can just imagine that when we are born, okay, when you're born, let me just draw this so I can show it to you clearly. So let's say when we are born in mother's womb, the first thing that occurs is this first vibration, and that's called Pratisandhisita. Pratisandhisita means the very first mind energy that occurs in the mother's womb. Before our body is created, our mind goes into the mother's womb, and around it is the body that get created based on the karma. Okay, so this is called Pratisandhisita, which is the name given to it. It means it's the very first mind energy in this life, okay, that we experience. Now we cannot control this one. We cannot control or influence this because it comes as a vipaka sita. It comes as a result of a previous karma. Okay. In the same way, the last citta, imagine, this is our life. Okay. This is our first citta, and we exist for like 60, 70 years and we die. In the last dying moment, we have the very last citta, which is called Chuti citta. So Chuti citta is a name given to the last vibrational energy, last vibration or last mind energy. This last mind energy is basically comes to our mind as a result of a previous karma. We cannot control this one. Okay, it could be a karma that we did in this lifetime or previous lifetime. Okay, some karma will affect we until we achieve nirvana. Okay, there was a story where a young boy has killed an insect that was actually on a buffalo's body. He caught the insect. He took a little pin and he pierced through the body of that insect. The karma of that action meant that he will die for the next 500 years in a similar fashion. Okay, so like that, if we have done any bad karma in previous lives, this last citta will be governed by those karma. Now, the only way to influence it is to do as much positive or meritorious deeds, positive karma deeds in this lifetime or in every lifetime as much as possible. So dana, sila, bhavana, adivasi. So basically, we have to make sure that all these mind energies in between are kusal sit. And that's why we do dasa punya kriya. We do the 10 meritorious deeds to create positive karma mind energies in between. Because we hope that if we achieve a dhyana or some higher state like that, those karma will supersede and influence this last mind energy to be born in a better life or even to achieve nirvana. So that's how it works. So the first mind energy is called pratisandhi citta. The last mind energy in our life, in this life, is called chuti citta. Everything in between called bhavanga. So when we don't exercise the Ahethuka sit, okay, when we don't exercise the Ahethuka sit we talked about today, like for example, when we're sleeping and when we're not dreaming, okay, we still have to exist, we still have to stay alive. Okay, in that moment, our mind energy, our mind is going into this bhavanga citta. Bhavanga means it is the citta, is the mind energy that connect us to this life. Okay, and it is the same citta, same mind energy that that was the first mind energy when you're born. So bhavanga citta is the same mind energy that help us to be born in this life. And that same energy, that same mind energy is what's called bhavanga. And that's when we're not focusing on any of our senses, our mind energy rests with that mind energy called bhavanga citta. So bhavanga citta is the name given to the very first mind energy or very first citta that we are born with. And it is the resting place of our mind when we are not focusing on any of the 5 faculties or even the mind. Okay, when you're not actively focusing, when we're not dreaming, for example, when we're dreaming, we are creating karma. Okay, whether it's positive or negative, we're creating karma. But when we're not dreaming but sleeping, our mind is resting with the same mind energy called the bhavanga citta that help us to be born in this lifetime. Only time the bhavanga citta changes is when we die. The last mind energy is called chuti citta, that's influenced by a previous karma. And that's what determines where we get born, whether we go to hell, heaven, or Brahma world, is determined by the chuti citta. The chuti citta must be influenced by doing 10 meritorious deeds. And the Chutisita is decided based on the Santirana Sita. This Sita. Santirana Sita. So if it's a Kusal Santirana Sita, we go in, we get born in the heaven or in Brahma worlds. Right? But if it's Akusal Santirana Sita, then we go to, hell or in the spirit world or the demon world, okay, based on the 31 realms. So that's how the Santirana Sita works, and that's a Vipaka Sita. So we can't really control it. It's influenced by our karma. Is that clear? Do you have any questions?
It's clear.
Okay, great. Just want to also tell you a bit about the 31 realms. I know we've gone through this in the past, but just want to show you that there are 31 realms that we get born again and again, and they're called 31 planes of existence. So just want to go from the bottom here. So the Manusaloka is where we are today, and below us is Niraya. There are 8 levels based on pain. And then animal world is second one, which we experience here also. And then Preta world is the spirit world. So if your Santirana Sita is influenced by a Lobha, right? Lobha Sita. So let's say, some people die because they get attached to the house they live in or to the people, whatever. It is said that if you die, if your Santirana Sita is Lobha, influenced by a Lobha karma, then you get born in the Preta world. But if you're Santirana Sita, if you're someone who constantly get angry and exercise anger, and your karma, there's an anger karma that causes your Santirana Sita to be influenced, then there's a chance that you might go into the demons world or into Niraya. Okay, so that's how these worlds work, and that's why it's important to protect your mind from Lobha, Dvesha, Moha. That's why you have to do the Dasa Punya Kriya or the 10 meritorious deeds to create positive karma, so that your last mind energy become a positive one. If it's a positive one, you don't go to these. I mean, there's no guarantees, of course, because we don't know what karma we have created in the past. But if it's a positive one, then the chances are you either go to Nirvana, or you'll be born in Manusaloka, or any of the 6 heavens, right? Or any of the 16 Brahma worlds. These are the Brahma worlds. So these are the worlds that we live in. So, I mean, just to give you a bit of example. So Manusaloka, one day in the human world, the nearest heaven is called Chatu Maharajika, and that's 50 human years is one day for them. The one above that, Tavatinsa, one day for them is 100 human years. So when someone's 100 years, it's one day for that world. So the thing is, we all been living in these worlds, right? Countless number of times, even to the top of the world. So when you've been, living in these Brahma worlds, there are Mahakalpa is a lifetime. Okay, 84,000 Mahakalpa is a life expectancy in this world. Neva Sanya Na Sanya world, right? We all been there a number of times. But the most of our life, most of our samsara, we've been born in these worlds. And there are the countless number of lifetimes we spend in these worlds. That's why the samsara is a very scary one. And our life in this human world is very temporary. In order to stop this never-ending cycle of rebirth, the only way to end it is to achieve nirvana, to end this never-ending cycle. So that's why we're learning the Abhidhamma. That's why we're practicing and protecting our mind from negative thoughts and practicing Satipatthana meditation techniques, because only through the Satipatthana meditation techniques you can achieve nirvana. Okay, if you don't do that, that means you're not practicing or you're not purifying your mind from negative thoughts. The Satipatthana meditation techniques is very, very important for us to practice. Okay, there are 21 of them, and then hopefully we can talk about it one day. But just to give an idea, when we have a negative thought, okay, we have to first, in the Chittanupassana meditation technique, first step is to recognize the negative thought as negative. Recognition is the first step. Then we observe it as a third person, as an outsider. We watch our negative thought as a third person. In the same way that when we go to the beach, we see the rising of the waves. It's going up and down, up and down, up and down. But if you keep watching the waves, you know that the wave is constantly changing, and then it changes as it loses energy. It loses the wave also and becomes very subtle and calm. So like that, we have to watch our mind energy, whether it's a feeling or a thought, they're all energy. We just watch this energy. If it's a negative thought, if it's a anger thought, we watch the anger without focusing on the story around the anger. We watch the root cause of the anger as an outsider until it disappears. That's all it is. But we do it mindfully so that we don't cultivate the anger. We don't fuel it with justifications to get even more angry. That's what normal people does. But as someone who practices Satipatthana meditation, you don't fuel your anger. You just watch it until it disappears. So that's what I want to say. And I highly encourage you to watch the other videos in my YouTube channel and learn about the 52 negative thoughts, which are, I went through this here. So these are the first 7 thoughts, right? These are the English meaning, the Sinhalese meaning. So there's a Pali word, okay, in Sinhala, and the Sinhala meaning for it, and the Pali word in English and the English meaning for it. So basically these thoughts is what we experience in the Ahethuka sit. In the Ahethuka sit, you only get these 7 thoughts, nothing more. But in Sampaticchana and Santirna Sita, we experience some of these thoughts, the Adhimokka thought, because that's what helps you to decide. Okay, when you make decisions, make sure you understand that it's done by the Adhimokka thought. Okay, when you like logically reasoning something, it's done by the Vitakka thought. When you're doing when you're focusing something constantly, you use the Vitakka and Vitara thoughts. When you're having effort to do something, make sure you know that your effort thought or virya thought is in use. And when you're happy, your priti thought is in use. And when you decide to do something because you like it, make sure you know that your chanda thought is in use. So these 6 thoughts can work when you're doing something negative, towards negative karma creation, and also doing something positive as positive karma creation thoughts. So these 6 thoughts, they're called prakirnaka chaitaka. They work in the positive mindset and negative mindsets to help you to do positive things or negative things. And these 7 also influence in a positive and negative mindsets also. So we covered this in details in the previous session, so I highly encourage you to watch those videos and gather your knowledge. But if you don't have any questions, thank you very much for joining. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you learned something. And I basically encourage you to study further, listen to other Dharma Desana, and speak to people who are expert in this area and learn more about Abhidharma, and try to not just learn but to practice. By learning Abhidharma, the main benefit I see is that when you learn the 52 thoughts that occur in our minds, we're learning ourselves, we're learning about our mind. Okay, then especially the negative thoughts. When you learn about the negative thought, let me share the negative thought slide with you, but that's very important. If you haven't learned anything, please learn these negative thoughts. Okay, these are the thoughts that creates negative karma inside us. These are the Sinhala meanings, these are the English meanings. Basically, it's important to memorize these words, not just memorize, but to recognize as they occur in your body, in your mind. Okay. So when you're feeling doubtful, know that the skeptical thought or the vichikicha thought is being used, and use a technique like, don't get attached, or watch the thought energy until it disappears without getting attached to it. Okay. When you're feeling lazy, know that your tina midda thoughts are in use at that time. These are also called nivarna. Kukuche, it's a regret or guilt. These are all negative. These are your worst enemies. Okay. You don't have external worst enemies. These are your internal worst enemies. So it's important to recognize these thoughts as your enemies, and as they arise in your mind, be skillful enough to get them out of your mind as quickly as possible. Maisa or Macharya, there are 5 types of Macharya: jealousy, hatred, pride, ditti is wrong view, greed. Like the dosa means like when you dislike something or frustrated, fear or angry or hatred, these are all variation of dosa thought. Okay, so know that you're exercising negative karma in that moment. Whenever you're exercising these thoughts, you're creating negative karma. So it is your responsibility to protect your mind from these 14 negative karma creation thoughts. Understand them, memorize them, recognize them as they appear in your mind. As soon as they appear, use any technique, especially the Satipatthana techniques, to watch them from a distance until they disappear. That's all it is. First thing is you recognize the thought, then you watch it from a distance without getting attached to it until they disappear. That's it. And then at that moment, you're basically practicing a Satipatthana Sutra meditation technique called the Nivarna technique, or the Chittanupassana. So you can do this anytime. You don't need to be sitting down to do this. You can practice this meditation technique, whenever you have the awareness about these. Okay, so first step of awareness is to learn what they are first and acknowledge them as negative. Okay, negative karma creation. When you acknowledge it, then your unconscious will help you to recognize them in the future automatically, or the deeper part of you will give you basically a signal to say that these are bad, they're coming, get rid of them. Now, one of the very, very tricky thought to manage is actually what's it called? Mana. Okay, mana means pride. Pride, or basically another word for this is mana means whenever we're judging someone, whether someone is equal to you, higher than you, lower than you, that is called mana. And mana thought will be with you until you achieve nirvana. So this, when you see people treating other people badly, know that at that moment they have a mana sita. Okay, it is the mana thought that compel people to treat other people badly. And if they can only manage that thought by just acknowledging right now in my mind, there's a mana thought is controlling it, and I want to, I won't allow it to control me because it creates negative karma. So I will not allow it to do that. So therefore, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch how this mana thought appears in my mind, behaves in my mind, and its characteristics. Okay, so I wanted to just recognize it as mana and then watch it and then see it disappearing. That's all. When you do that, you're reducing mana. So hopefully you can take a screenshot or take a photo of this and then try to basically learn about them. And as they appear in your mind, recognize them and destroy them through Satipatthana meditation techniques. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something new. And may you all practice the Satipatthana Sutra meditation techniques as much as possible and achieve the supreme bliss of Nibbana in the shortest time period in this life itself, in the most easiest way. May you all achieve the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Teruvan Saranai. I'll see you in 3 weeks' time.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Uncle. It was
Well-
such a great session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Really appreciate it. Teruvan Saranai.